coming to the Queen Elizabeth Theater, Wednesday, January 24th. Tickets at Ticketmaster. Call 280-3311.
Bernie's got sports for us now.
Yes, Deb, the All-Star break over, so it's back to NHL action, and the Vancouver Canucks have added another BC player to their roster. Burnaby native Glenn Anderson, boasting 6 Stanley Cup rings, has been signed for the balance of the season at between $300,000 and $400,000 for the next few months. It's a good move, though, by Pat Quinn. Anderson brings experience, talent, and a feisty approach to the game, even if he is 35 years of age. Granted, it will take Glenn Anderson a couple of weeks to get back into game shape, but he's a great skater and should be an asset, especially in the playoffs.
Feels pretty good. I'm really excited about playing, and hopefully we get something accomplished by the end of May and the beginning of June.
It's fun, you know, a 6 Stanley Cup champion coming on our team, and you know, he's coming back again in the same team I am, and he's feel like he's following me all over.
I called him the day before just to touch base to see what was going on, and I said, you know, I haven't hooked up with any team, see what Pat might be doing, or if how's your team looking. You know, it kind of basically went over it and asked if there was any opportunity of joining the Canucks, and he said he was going to look into it for me.
So he should get an agent's fee or something.
Yeah, if we can get it out of him. I don't know what he's saying half the time.
He's here. You should get an agent's fee.
Well, I think so by now. No, I don't. You know, he's my friend since '84 when I coming in the league. Helped me in the team in Edmonton, and now it's time to help him.
When names like Tikkanen and Anderson come up, you're from a coaching standpoint, you know you got somebody coming in that you're not going to have to spend a ton of time with teaching them your philosophies or the team fundamentals. They're smart players.
Is it the kind of thing that works economically for the Canucks?
Yeah, we think we've agreed to terms that are reasonable and make sense for us. If you can bring to us the same sort of thing that Tikkanen has brought to us, he's going to help our hockey club. And I can't emphasize how much it means to us to have another guy from Vancouver here.
Looking over the schedule, there's games around the 3rd and 4th of February. Hopefully I can get back by that time.
So he'll be watching the action tonight as the Canucks host the Dallas Stars, and Dallas head coach Ken Hitchcock still looking for his first win in 5 games since replacing Bob Gainey behind the Dallas bench. The 44-year-old Hitchcock was one of the most successful junior coaches ever in Canada, instrumental in building the Kamloops Blazers into a junior hockey powerhouse. The past few seasons, Hitch has been coaching in the International League with that ongoing dream to coach in the NHL. He definitely has the expertise and knowledge, but there's always been one drawback in his quest to make the jump to the NHL, and it was not hockey related.
The Kamloops Blazers junior hockey dynasty began in the late 1980s under the direction of Ken Hitchcock, an affable hockey coach who weighed more than 400 pounds at the time.
Hi, Coach. Hi. You're on the green rink all the way down?
Today, Hitchcock's the head coach of the NHL Dallas Stars. Still affable, but close to 200 pounds lighter.
I just decided in the middle of June that I'd had enough, that I was going to go finish it, and so I did it. And I was feeling better and better as it went on, so I just kept doing it, and so that's what's happened here.
Weight Watchers should be going after you.
No, I don't want to go. I got my own plan. I'm not trading it in or selling it to anybody.
Did you feel you had to lose weight to become an NHL coach?
I didn't really look at it that way. I didn't even think of it that way to start with. I thought that I had to lose weight from an image standpoint with the players. I really didn't think of it as, am I going to be in the NHL?
Ken Hitchcock became the Stars bench boss 2 weeks ago when Bob Gainey decided to concentrate on the general manager duties.
The biggest adjustment for me has been understanding the league, because I didn't spend any time paying attention to the league itself. I watched Dallas play, but I didn't spend, I never watched, I may watch one NHL game a week.
Under Hitchcock, Dallas has 1 tie and 4 losses in 5 games. If Hitch is going to get his first NHL victory, the Stars will have to put some pucks behind Vancouver's Corey Hirsch, the same Hirsch who played 4 years for Hitchcock as a Kamloops Blazer.
I hope they give him a good chance, because he's a smart guy, and you know, he really knows how to motivate. He's definitely got all the skills, and now he's lost the weight, so there's no other reason keeping him out of the NHL.
What was he like in the dressing room?
Oh, he was great. I mean, you know, sometimes he yelled a little bit too much, but we all liked him. We all respected him.
I know him from earlier days, so we'll see how that goes.
He says you yelled at him in the dressing room.
Once or twice. I think I yelled at everybody in junior once or twice, didn't I? Part of the routine. Isn't that the thing in junior?
Good to see Ken Hitchcock in the NHL. Orca Bay will honor the 1 millionth fan of the season at General Motors Place tonight. Just a few months since opening day, and already the Canucks and the Grizzlies combined will hit the 1 million mark in attendance this evening. A prize package of tickets and gifts totaling about $25,000 will be awarded to one lucky fan tonight. Now to golf. Kerry Webb among the weekend winners, Webb winning an LPGA event in Florida. A car was the prize for a hole-in-one at the Bob Hope Classic. The elite of the golf world on hand, and the closest to acing one was Bruce Litsky with this shot. He finished with a final round 68 and 6 off the pace. The winner was Mark Brooks, a 23 under total, adding just over $230,000 to his bank account. On the Seniors Tour, South African John Bland birdied the last 2 holes to win this tournament in Puerto Rico, a 9 under 207 total. The Dallas Cowboys, who have won Super Bowls in Georgia, California, Louisiana, have arrived in Arizona for their 8th Super Bowl appearance. Troy Aikman reflects on the longtime Cowboy-Steeler rivalry.
I certainly don't want to take anything away from the games that were played in the 70s or the rivalry that these two teams have had, but it was not significant for those players that are a part of this game. And I think for those people that have been Cowboy fans for all these years, or Steeler fans, and have grown up rooting for the teams, and I think it's kind of nice about the fact that we're playing each other.
With basketball, Damon Stoudemire scored Toronto's final 8 points, a game total 23, as the Raptors dumped Boston by 2. And talk about exciting finales. Shaquille O'Neal's layup with seconds left lifted the Magic to a 1-point win over Houston. And also with basketball, how about this routine at a halftime show?
Each with 5 points, but it's
Yes, and out of figure skating, our Canadian skaters preparing for the Nationals to be held early next month in...
Do not know how to program your own VCR.
Well, I have a kid to help me, little Jordan, but the answer is I've got several different VCRs, and I was starting to forget. The other thing is I lost one of the remotes, right?
Oh, okay. So now you've got this device.
That's right. This is a VCR voice programmer, and it's probably the answer to everybody who's been having trouble with their VCRs, because it simplifies it tremendously.
Great.
All you really have to do is speak to it. So, for example, I've already got a television here, and I could have programmed the television remote in, except I can't find it. So I've turned on the television. All I have to do is hold down one button on this thing and say to it, play.
Yeah.
And the videotape starts up. So you've got complete control of it from here. Watch the video for a while, and if you decide you want to do fast forward, fast forward.
Wow.
Skipping
Look at
over
that.
commercials or whatever. It even has a feature to zap commercials, and then you can go stop. So you really got complete control of the video by
like
talking
an
to it with your
obedient
voice.
dog, really. Now, that's control. What about programming
That's
your
the point.
VCR?
What you can do is actually use this device to tell it when you want to record a show. You say things to it like, Monday, record, 3 p.m. It goes out there and records from that time on.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about the intricacies of the VCR, because all the intelligence is inside of here. What it does is you leave it so it can see your VCR. That's very important. And it then talks by infrared to the VCR and proceeds to program it automatically.
Okay, so it doesn't send the command until the time required. You have to make sure the device is actually pointing at the VCR.
What it does is it presses the play and record buttons remotely, and I must confess I haven't trained it on my voice as well as I should.
Well, you know, that's the other thing. It has to somehow become acclimatized to your own voice.
You can have up to 4 different users on it, and you log yourself in as user 1, 2, 3, or 4, and depending upon which one you say you are, it recognizes your voice. And I had Jordan try it, and it wouldn't work at all for him. So it is kind of sensitive to your voice.
So you give it what? 3 stars out of 5?
Yeah, I give it about a 3. And when I learned to use it, you know, one of the things they say in the instructions is don't get nervous with it. Maybe I just spoke to it nervously just now, and I had voice stress.
I know. Okay, now I notice you have a piece of groovy jewelry around your neck there, Tom.
This is the jewelry of the 90s here. It's a Sony mini television set.
Yeah.
All you have to do is flip this guy on. It actually is quite clever because what he does is he picks up television stations off the air. Of course, there's no cable, and you don't have to worry about that little dial to set them. You just push a little seek button, and when you seek to a particular channel, it goes out and it finds it. It's got pretty good reception. It's the kind of thing somebody would take it to a football game, hopefully wearing headphones, right? Because otherwise you drive everybody crazy around you.
Exactly. But it is neat. I mean, I have one, and it is the size of it, the way it feels in your hand. It actually is great portable technology.
It's well designed too. It just fits right in your hand, and you can look down at it and kind of, you know, watch the play-by-play. That's where I predict this will be used at sporting events mainly.
What do you think of the picture, Tom?
It's okay. When they pan the camera, if you see a shot where they're panning, the little LCD panel here can't really keep up. But once the camera stops moving, everything's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of nice looking. Now, I want you to tell me about, I put on some weight during the festive season, Tom. Now, you look great, but I put on about 8 inches.
Did you?
Yeah, on my waistline. I mean, you know, what should I do to try and get rid of this?
Oh, you need this. It looks like a calculator, but it's actually a diet computer. It has most foods that you probably eat, including foods by name. So, for example, we go in here and we look up Wendy's French fries. And all we have to do is carry this thing everywhere we go. You put in the code, which happens to be 1573, indicating now that you have eaten an entire portion of Wendy's French fries. Now you can get the bad news. You go view, and you look at calories, and you've just ingested 1,548 calories.
Wow. Now this thing knows how much Wendy's French fry packs, as opposed to your garden variety fry, the one you cook at home.
That's right. Well, it's got generic foods as well, but basically what they've done is taken the most common fast foods, coated them in there to make it very, very easy, and you can even look at the average amount that you've eaten over the week and so on. So it would be quite useful, particularly for somebody who's been put on some kind of a diet by their doctor, let's say a low-sodium diet, because there's a lot of hidden sodium in food that we don't know about. This knows the sour dressings that are spiked with and so on, and I think it's a very useful product that way.
So it doesn't just keep track of calories?
Right. Calories, fats, sodium, all the basic nutrients the doctors tell us we're supposed to worry about after Christmas.
Now, finally, you have this Dick Tracy device that takes the gangster out of a pager, doesn't it? You don't have to wear those things in your belts anymore. Look like you're a drug dealer.
It's what all teenagers will be wearing soon. It's a big watch with all these sort of antennas around it, and you think, well, kind of strange looking, but it is both a watch and a pager. And as you said, people tend to think of pager as something that, you know, plumbers wear and computer repair guys wear, but your average high school student is not going to want to be seen with a big old ugly pager. This has a little window in it here, and that window actually allows you to go out there and to receive a page just like any other page.
Now, it's not available yet in Canada, but I'm wondering also, does it have a silent alert?
Yes, it doesn't have a vibrator yet. This is the early days of this, so it's only numeric, and it doesn't vibrate, but I'm sure they're working on alphanumeric versions and so on. So fundamentally what it means is you will always have your pager with you. That's the key advantage. A lot of people have pages, but they forget to take them places.
So now, Tom, what other devices or mini technology can we look forward to in the future with all of this, the advances?
Well, there's a mail order house called Quorum Direct that just has it's like a toy shop catalog for adults. There's all kinds of things in there. One of the big ones now coming up are the digital video discs. They found out a way to put lots and lots of digital information on something the size of a compact disc, so that's very hot. I think we're going to see that. Also, they figured out a way to combine together audio and video. So now the new Rolling Stones, I think it's called Stripped, the CD also has video on it, so I think that's going to be one of the things that's very hot this year.
And if we're lucky, we'll be able to turn it on and off with our voice,
that's right, better than I can.
All right, Tom, thanks very much.
Thanks,
nice to see you. Bye-bye.
Now, you forgot those things where you turn off the lights.
Oh, yeah, that's high technology, isn't it?
There, I love those commercials. 8 inches. He did not put on 8 inches.
Oh, I lost it.
Yeah,
did a lot
he
of
lost
work.
it overnight. When we come back, diamonds in the Northwest Territories.
New Kraft Extra Creamy Macaroni and Cheese. Follow the directions and you get more sauce, 40% more than our regular macaroni and cheese, for a smoother, richer, altogether creamier cheddar taste. New and extra creamy. From the cheese experts at Kraft. You could say we've invented a better mousetrap.
Yikes. I thought you said mousetrap. So sorry, sir.
New Kraft.
Who heard? Ecologically, it's a delicate area. BHP Minerals has spent the last 2 years searching for diamonds from its base in the northern Barren Lands. The company plans to have its mine up and running by the end of 1997.
Kim Ternacity from CBC North joins us now in Yellowknife. Kim, this is obviously a huge project. Can you give us some sense of its scope?
Well, it is a very large project, Tina, especially for the Northwest Territories at this time. It's estimated that it could employ about 800 people once the project gets up and going, if it gets the approval. Millions and millions of dollars are being spent. The project is estimated to generate about $500 million a year and pay out over, well, approximately $2.5 billion in taxes and royalties to the federal government over the 25-year life of the project.
Wow, and first time it would be diamond mining in North America, I gather, in the whole continent.
Well, actually, I believe a small project started in Colorado not too long ago, so this would be the first project in Canada. And I think the proponents of the project were hoping it would be the first time in North America, but someone sort of slid in under the wire.
Now, I don't know much about diamond mining. What a surprise, eh? Can you tell me what's actually involved? Because I gather there's a huge environmental impact it might have.
I think that one of the greatest environmental impacts is the location of where this is happening. You know, it's on the Barren Lands, one of the last untouched areas of the world, or of Canada for sure. So that's one of the concerns, is that the place that it's happening. The actual technology of mining itself, it's open pit. There's no chemical process involved, so you don't have to add anything to find the diamond. It's a physical process. So a very simplified version or explanation is that you gather a bunch of rocks and you shift it up and you shift it around and crush it, and then the diamond comes out. So that's extremely simplified. But that's what's involved in a process like this.
But they have to drain 5 lakes in order to do this, right?
The lucrative kimberlite pipes, it's sort of a cone-shaped or carrot-shaped pipe that runs underneath a lake, is where the diamonds are found. And to get at the deposit, the company is suggesting that approximately 5 lakes would have to be drained in order to get at the deposit. Now, what's going to come out in the hearings that are starting is some of the interveners or participants are going to ask, is there another way that this can be done? The company has come back in some of its statements and said there are, but we haven't really explored that possibility because it's not economically feasible. So they're still purporting to the best way to do it is to drain the lakes. Now, these aren't lakes the size of Great Slave Lake or Great Bear or any large lakes like that, but they still are lakes.
They have great names. One of them is called Misery Lake.
Misery is one of the best deposits I believe they have. Another one is Koala and Fox.
Wonderful. Now tell me then, obviously environmental, as you say, there will be environmental interveners. What case will they be making that the project should not go ahead?
Well, a couple of the concerns that they're bringing forward at this time, I mean, first of all, the area of concerns run a huge gamut from who is going to get the jobs, who will get the royalties, how will the diamonds be graded. I mean, an expert is going to come in and talk about how we assess the quality of diamonds before they're shipped out to Europe for cutting and polishing. So some of the environmental concerns raised will be, there's a caribou herd that's in the vicinity. Will the presence of a diamond mine affect the calving grounds or caribou migration, barren land grizzlies, all types of wildlife areas or habitat in the area, and how will they be affected by the project?
And what kind of record does this company, BHP, have environmentally?
Well, they have a lot of experience in mining. That's why they were sought out by the junior exploration company that first made the discovery. They're a multinational corporation that first had its start in Australia and have mushroomed around the world, and they are now, I believe, either the leading or the second largest copper producer in the world. Environmentally, they haven't had a black mark on their record in Canada, but charges have been brought against the company recently and another company looking for diamonds, suggesting that they violated the Fisheries Act by dumping a substance into the lake. Now, that court date was supposed to come up last week, but it was postponed, and it'll probably be heard about midway through the public hearing phase.
Now, are Native concerns or Aboriginal concerns, are they the same as the environmental concerns, or does the Native community have its own case?
They have a lot of concerns as well. Generally, there has been support for the project because it represents such an economic opportunity for the communities and the people of the North. But there are tremendous environmental concerns, and I mentioned some of them about the caribou, about traditional land use, about native burial sites, how those will be treated and addressed, and also about ownership of the land too, because the property upon which the project is supposed to take place is traditional hunting ground for the Dogribs, the Dene, the Inuit, and some of the Métis as well. So there's a question as to whose land is it anyway.
Well, and who gets the cash here? I mean, revenue sharing, I assume, will be an issue.
Big cash in this project, and then the federal government will get some of it for sure through royalties. The Northwest Territories government will get some from corporate tax, but that's it. I mean, they stand to be a big loser in all this unless they can try and get some sort of piece of the action. The company is also supposed to negotiate an impacts and benefits agreement with the Aboriginal groups involved, but hasn't done so. So there's a lot of money, and through the hearings we're likely going to hear a case as to why a certain percentage of the royalties or money should go to a certain group and why they shouldn't.
Now, why would the Northwest Territories not get some money? It's because they don't have status as a province? For instance, in the way that Alberta would have gotten some money, one assumes, if this would have happened there.
Yes, that's a long-standing, I guess, dispute between the territories, the Northwest Territories, and the federal government, in that the NWT does not get royalties from any mining project now, and there are sort of ongoing negotiations, but again, land claim and Aboriginal consultation and land claim goes into that as well, because some of the Aboriginal groups say that there should be no agreement between the government of the Northwest Territories and the federal government until land claims are all settled in the area.
Now, what does the smart money say? That the project will go ahead? I mean, that these hearings will happen, but then the thing will happen?
A lot of people are saying that, yes, indeed, it's almost a foregone conclusion, but don't tell that to some of the participants and interveners. It has had a lot of support. Most people, or a lot of people, want to see it go ahead. But what's going to come out of these public hearings are recommendations from the panel, and those recommendations should carry a lot of weight. They might recommend an entire blueprint for how diamond mining will be done in future in Canada if it goes ahead. So they have a lot of power in their recommendation that will go to the federal cabinet.
Thanks very much, Kim.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
When we come back, singer John McDermott.
For you take the high road, and I'll take the low, and I'll be in Scotland all year.
Province, wherever I have gone, in pre-budget consultation, talking to people in the community, asking them about the things that we can do without, that are less important, that we can cut. Almost unanimously, people have said that business subsidies are unnecessary and unfair, and that in tough financial times, they're just not affordable. So today I've sent a letter to Mr. Martin urging him to reconsider his priorities and to examine the $5.4 billion in corporate subsidies and to eliminate those instead of taking the money out of health care and education and social services that Canadians count on.
In the not-too-distant future, you could start encountering Canada Customs officers with American accents. Revenue Canada is now looking at a plan that would share Canadian and U.S. Customs agents at smaller border crossings. Revenue Minister David Anderson says it would reduce bottlenecks and perhaps keep some small border posts open longer. But there's a ton of red tape to unravel, and Anderson said the Canadian and American governments are still thinking the idea through. And now let's check in with Norm. Here's his chance to tell us all about this storm, which is here.
Pamela, it's all really a matter of altitude and attitude. Yes, it doesn't take an altitude of very many meters above sea level for this wet snow to change to heavy, real snow. And it is, 15 minutes ago, it was more mixed with rain. Now it's sort of like cold, wet feathers falling on our faces here in the west end of Vancouver. And as far as attitude is concerned, it's really interesting that people from other parts of Canada who've had some experience with snow kind of chuckle at us because we take this so seriously. And of course it is serious when you get stuck in it. That's because not everybody, but enough people are running around on summer tires and they haven't quite got the hang of driving in this kind of weather. It sort of happens once a year in the greater Vancouver area. Now the thing is, that the reason it's so unusual and it's topping all of the news is because we have the best weather in Canada. So when we do get a little bit of snow, we make the most of it, don't we? The thing is that it's going to remain very, very unsettled all week long. If it isn't snow, it'll be ready to snow, or it'll just finish snowing, or periods of wet snow, snow mixed with rain. It's going to be mild enough during the day up to about +2 and 3. Overnight minimums are going to be -1, but it'll be more like -9 in the Fraser Valley, and there's still a lot of very chilly Arctic air coming out of the interior. So when you get anywhere east of Maple Ridge into the Chilliwack Hope area, that's a whole different story. But it will continue to snow overnight. Accumulations in some of the higher areas in Greater Vancouver up to 15 centimeters. And how are your loved ones doing in the traffic? Here to tell you is Sarah Daniels.
Well, you know, it's always sort of fun to laugh at the people with four-wheel drive because they think they know it all in snow like this, and what turns up happening is that they end up in a ditch. But we'll take a look at the downtown core right now. Not moving too badly. They salted most of the roads, so it's just volume delays right now. People trying to cope, especially on the North Shore. Second Narrows Bridge also busy for northbound traffic. The snow really starting to stick on the North Shore. And the number 1 eastbound is slow all the way out. Oak Street Bridge and the Ninth Street Bridges are getting busier. Northbound through the tunnel is a good 7 to 10 minute delay. The East-West Connector is starting to see some snow sticking as well. And the Alex Fraser Bridge, the Patello, and the Portman all pretty busy this afternoon. So that's traffic. The early news will continue in just a moment.
Sponsored by United Furniture Warehouse. Fine furniture, warehouse priced.
Shop United Furniture Warehouse.
We bought a brass bed, a day bed, and bunk beds, and mattresses to go with them.
I'll bet we saved $600, and the quality of the furniture is great.
United Furniture Warehouse.
Spring 1993. Kiki Delaney watches as a world away, a nation of 1 billion people stirs. She asks herself one simple question. What will China eat? For her clients, she buys $5 million worth of an Alberta fertilizer producer called Agrium. In 2 years, Agrium's share value triples. 175 portfolio managers, 409 research associates, 38 countries, one vision. Spectrum United. To us, there are no foreign markets.
On Tuesday evenings, I watch as she enjoys her favorite soap opera. My loyalty does not go unnoticed.
How would you like to have the highest paid financial analyst in the world tell you specifically what are the hottest stock markets for your RSP? Or maybe you'd like to know where gold or your mortgage rates are headed. Because if you would, then don't make any excuses and book your ticket for the World Outlook Conference featuring Martin Armstrong, president of Princeton Economics International.
January 22nd, Qualicum Beach. January 23rd, Kelowna. January 24th, Prince George. January 26th and 27th, Vancouver. Call Ticketmaster, 280-4444.
I don't get it. You can find the auto show, but you can't find Richmond.
I must have taken a wrong turn at Whistler. If the auto show has you searching for the best deal, look no further. It's the auto show sale at Richmond Auto Mall. 15 dealers, 3,000 sale price cars and trucks, one location. Must be over that way.
Oh, yeah? So, where are the buildings?
Richmond Auto Mall. Car buying made easy.
And Lynn McNamara is here now, not to talk about snow, but low-budget movies being made in British Columbia. Lynn?
That's right. I'm about the only one that's not talking about snow tonight.
I know.
Yes, anyway, another low-budget movie being made. They've got very little money and stars with no marquee value, but they're hoping that these people will get to be big stars and that they'll make lots of money. We were on the set of a picture called Listen. Let's have a look.
Does this thing ever stop?
Goes off every once in a while. Vancouver's Gavin Wilding directs a scene from Listen, a low-budget thriller shooting in a makeshift Burnaby movie studio. With a little help from friends, the movie will cost about $500,000 US.
It's unconventional in a lot of ways. It's what some people might call an erotic thriller. I think the genre, I would like to say it's basically Hitchcock, which is to say it's suspense, but it's not a gore film.
Gotcha. No!
They're calling it Fatal Attraction with a Twist. A very 1990s story of a three-way love triangle in San Francisco, which results in some mysterious murders.
The gist of the story is she has an ex-lover. She is bisexual, and she is also kind of lingering in the picture. And it's really a story about a triangular relationship. You know, that sort of the tension between us.
I'm happy for you, Sarah. Really? Really? If you're happy, I'm happy.
Well, then you're happy. God, you look so much better.
Brooke's a great.
Oh, I'm sorry we missed that.
No. She's a much better kisser than I am.
No, it was because we get along so well. It was, you know, it was very easy for us to be okay with it because we're rooting for each other, and you know.
Yeah, it felt very normal.
Yeah, we were okay.
It didn't scare me or anything at all. It felt very. Although that bottle of vodka we drank before the kiss. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
This movie is low budget, but when you look at what we put together, you'll see that our approach is to say, okay, we're a studio movie. We're going to approach it with the same level of quality, the same passion, the same commitment, but we just don't have the money. So, and you really can do that.
Another of Lissy's stars, former Vancouver actor Gordon Curry, traveled here from his new home in New York City.
Raised in a small town called Mission City, and went to high school there, and did all the stage plays and stuff. Traveled around, went to Europe, New York, Toronto. Came back for Expo '86, and actually found out that you can actually Hollywood isn't just down in LA. You can actually make films here, and I was always interested in it. So I started acting classes here and quit everything and was very dedicated, and I tried damn hard, and I was pretty successful. And then I went down to LA and for about 5 years and studied quite intensively and worked a lot down there.
I made a choice to be in Vancouver as much as I can for a lot of reasons. One is that I find the attitude of all the people working in film is much better than it is in Los Angeles. A lot of times you go to the set in Los Angeles and you feel that everybody's doing you a favor by being there. And here people really are terrific. It's just the general attitude of Canadians.
Okay, cut. That's
reload. Cutting, cameras on a reload.
So Lynn, now where would a movie like this be shown?
I think what they're hoping is that they'll get a very small theatrical release for this. In other words, it'll be shown in a few movie theaters across North America, and that it'll probably go straight to video.
And can they recoup their money on the video?
Well, I guess they're hoping to. I mean, $500,000 isn't all that much, I guess, to recoup, and maybe they don't expect to make an awful lot of money with this one, but maybe they'll, make a little more with their next one. These people that have made the film have made, 2 or 3 films before. They're sort of starting out filmmakers, and it's just sort of par for the course. I think that you don't make an awful lot of money at the beginning unless you're very lucky.
Right. Now, is this becoming a bit of a trend? Is Hollywood becoming afraid of these monster blockbusters that seem to lose money?
Well, exactly. I mean, if you make a movie, most movies, you spend $20 to $30 million on a movie, and these days that's sort of a normal amount to budget for a movie. If you're giving your star $20 million, there's not an awful lot left for for the movie. So I think these little independent films are becoming very popular, and I can see why. It gives more people, get a chance to make movies that way. I think more actors get a chance to act, and I think it's really good. The competition is probably really quite wonderful.
And it's probably good for Vancouver, too, I would think, that we could make a lot more of these kinds of movies.
That's right, and that's mostly what we have been making. And it certainly means that not an awful lot of money is coming into our economy, but a lot of people are getting a chance to make movies. We've got another low-budget movie starting up today called The Heist, starring Laurie Singer. We'll be shooting all around our streets in the next month or so.
Sometimes these are more interesting than the big blockbusters.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Sometimes these little ones are more interesting than the major films.
I think they are. I mean, I went to see Ace Ventura Part 2, and it was terrible, and it cost an awful lot of money. So
a lot more than Part 1.
That's right.
Okay, thanks very much, Lynn.
Bye.
And thanks for being with us. Bye-bye.
Shop Head coach Brian Winters knows Milwaukee well. After all, he scored almost 10,000 points in 8 seasons with the Bucks. But other members of the Grizzlies remember Beertown less fondly and have something to prove against their former team. Edwards, Avent, Murdoch, and Mobley have all called Milwaukee home. And tonight, that's where the Grizzlies open a 6-game road trip. It's 28 cool degrees outside in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So what do you say we come inside the red-hot Bradley Center, where tonight it's Pontiac basketball on Grizzlies TV, where tonight the Vancouver Grizzlies battle the Milwaukee Bucks. And hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. This is Michael Thompson. We are honored tonight to have with us the big dog, Glenn Robinson. Last year, he led all NBA rookies in scoring at 22 points per game. A marvelous...
Whoa, Steve, wait a minute. First thing, this is not Glenn Robinson. I know what he told you. And second of all, this is a deer, not a dog, a buck, a Milwaukee Buck.
He barks like a dog.
Let me tell you about Glenn, big dog. Big dog Robinson.
Big dog.
Just get out of here. I'll tell you about Glenn Robinson. This is the man you guys beat. This is the big dog right here, ladies and gentlemen. The #1 pick in the draft a couple of years ago, the Milwaukee Bucks. A dream team member for the U.S. Olympic team that will be playing down in Atlanta in August. Also, pairs with Vin Baker in the front line to give the Milwaukee Bucks probably the best forward tandem in basketball outside of Seattle. When you have these two guys on your team, it's a dream matchup for Mike Dunleavy, the head coach. For Brian Winters, it's a headache because these two guys are as versatile a pair of forwards as you'll find in the league.
Can I come back now?
Yeah, come on back, but pay more attention to National Geographic, okay?
He's a deer.
He's a deer. That's a deer, right? A buck.
We've got a BC Tel advantage tonight, and it might be because of the second matchup of the year between Benoit Benjamin, the former Vancouver Grizzly, and the man he tutored for 3 weeks, Big Country Brian Reeves.
That's right, Big Country going against Benoit Benjamin. Here's a guy who should feel very comfortable in this matchup against Big Benoit Benjamin because these two guys practice against each other for 2 whole months in training camp in the first part of the season. So Big Country should feel very comfortable playing against Benoit tonight, and that should give him the BC Tel advantage.
Well, tonight will also be the return to glory for the Vancouver Grizzlies basketball coach, Brian Winters. He played for the Milwaukee Bucks and played here very well, scoring almost 10,000 points from 1975 to 1983. Brian Winters was absolutely magic from outside, so much so they had his number retired. It's hanging from the rafters. It's the Grizzlies and the Bucks next. Exclusive coverage of Vancouver Grizzlies basketball is brought to you by Pontiac and your BC Pontiac dealers. Pontiac, built for drivers. Air Canada, proud sponsor and official airline of the Vancouver Grizzlies. And by Labatt, good things brewing.
This is a test lab, unlike any other. The company that created it doesn't come here to watch if their products pass. They come here to watch them fail. Because when your goal is engineering automobiles to deliver the ultimate in durability, one company believes you never know what is enough until you know what is more than enough. The company is General Motors.
Flies the most people from Canada to more and more places in the USA. That's why we're the official airline of the Vancouver Grizzlies. We know the sky's the limit.
Hi, I'm Kelly, and hello. This is my beer commercial. Roll sound. Action. My beer, Labatt Ginger Draft. The cast, those are my friends. This is Mike. Mike. Okay, cue the announcer.
Labatt Genuine Draft goes down easy because it's real draft.
Hello. Weird, huh? Weird, huh? A woman talking in a beer commercial? Okay, that's wrap.
What the? Hello, welcome.
Well?
Next time, think yellow first.
Students, how can the Chevron Supremes help you pass air care?
They're oxygen-enriched to burn cleaner.
Right. Class dismissed.
Chevron, your town pump.
There's bullfrogs, bullfights, bull markets. Then there's the bulls. Here's Ernest, here's Hairness, and the Pip go one-on-one against our own Vancouver Grizzlies. One last chance to bring Mr. Jordan down to earth. Sports for BC, the Grizz, the Bulls, 5:30 Wednesday, BC TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are your Milwaukee Bucks. Starting at guard from Syracuse, 6'1", number 20, Sherman Douglas. At guard from Richmond, 6'6", number 22, Johnny. Center from Cradle, 7'4", number 7, Benoit Benjamin. At forward from Hartford, 6'10½", number 42, Vin Baker. At forward from Purdue University, 6'7", number 13,
Saw the Milwaukee Bucks starting lineups. Now let's check out the Future Shop starting lineups of this basketball game for the Grizzlies. Anthony and Blue Edwards in the backcourt with Big Country Brian Reeves, Anthony Avent, and Chris King. You just saw the Milwaukee lineup, but the matchup you really are looking forward to, Michael, is Anthony Avent having to defend Vin Baker.
Yes, because even though Glenn Robinson, the big dog, gets all the publicity and the commercials, Vin Baker really is the best player on this team. And Anthony Avent is a guy who's very familiar with Vin's game. And Anthony has to respond to the challenge tonight because Vin is a guy who can get 20 points, 10 rebounds, and about 6 or 7 assists against you.
Vancouver coach Brian Winters played 8 years for Milwaukee, averaging close to 17 points per game. He was an All-American at the University of South Carolina and played for 2 years there with Milwaukee's coach, Mike Dunleavy. As a matter of fact, it was Brian who helped recruit Mike to South Carolina. He's in his 4th year, Mike Dunleavy, with the Bucks after taking the Los Angeles Lakers to the NBA Finals in 1991. Our officials for tonight's basketball game: Jim Clark, Bennett Salvatore, and Gary Benson. Vancouver comes in with a record of 8-30. Milwaukee is 15-22. The Grizzlies won their last game Saturday 84-80 over the New York Knicks. Milwaukee has had 3 days off after last Thursday's 4-point win over the Golden State Warriors. There is Benoit Benjamin, the former Grizzly who averaged close to 13 points and 9 rebounds per game in his very short stint. And